In today's video, I'm going to share with you some of the most common mistakes, legal mistakes, I see people make when starting their online business. You ready? Well, let's do this. Hi, my name is Jim Hart. I'm the founding attorney here at Hawthorn Law, where we help online businesses to get their legal house in order so that you can focus on what you do best, and that is building a business that's truly going to make a difference in the world. And today, I want to share with you some of the most common, in fact, 10 of the most common legal issues that I see people make when they're just getting out and starting their online business. But before we get to that, I just want to share with you that many of you do not really truly know what legally protected really means. And that's because you are so busy starting and building your online business that the thought of making sure you have legal protections in place is just completely and totally overwhelming to you. So you do nothing. And that, my friends, is a big, big problem. Because as I've mentioned to you in numerous other videos, doing nothing when it comes to the legal aspects of running your online business, unless it is a conscious decision that you've made that right now you do not need to do anything legal, which for most of you is not going to be accurate, but unless that's the case, doing nothing is going to lead, whether you want it to or not, to complete and utter disaster for your business at some point down the road. So today I want to touch briefly on some of the major, in fact 10 of the major legal issues and mistakes that I see online entrepreneurs make when they're just getting out and starting their online business. Number one, they don't set up a legal entity for their business. Or they do choose to set up a legal entity, but then they don't do anything with it. This is by far the most common issue that people face when starting an online business. I get more questions about this than almost any other question that I see with regards to the different aspects of online business. I mean, I would say if you took all the other questions I get combined, compare them to the questions I get about setting up the proper legal entity for your business, I probably get more questions on setting up a legal entity than all those other issues. And that's why you see so many videos on my channel about setting up LLCs, mistakes people make with LLCs, because this is what people are so confused about. And I've talked about this before. You can either have an LLC or not have an LLC. Either way is okay, depending on your personal situation. But you want to make sure that you understand why you've made that choice. And so not having the proper legal foundation is the mistake I see people make. Not understanding what legal foundation you need is why people make that mistake. So that's number one. Number two, and this is for people that do choose to form an LLC or a corporation, is that they don't have a registered agent for their business. A lot of people think they can just use themselves as the registered agent because that's free and that's easy, and they would be wrong. You need to have a corporate registered agent. It's going to cost you anywhere from $100 to $200 a year. It's, as far as I'm concerned, you look at it as insurance, because you're going to make sure that if you ever do run into legal issues, or you need to get some sort of important mail from the government, if you get a lawsuit, if you get subpoenaed, if some other government entity needs to reach out to you for whatever reason, they're going to use your registered agent address, and they're going to go through the registered agent. And by hiring a corporate registered agent to serve in this role for you, then you don't need to worry that you're ever going to miss a deadline on something that comes from some sort of legal entity that needs to send you legal documents. Legally speaking, you're required to have a registered agent who can accept mail or legal documents or process for your business in place during normal business hours at a physical office location. So if that's you at your home address and you decide to go grocery shopping, or you decide to take a vacation, or you decide to work from a beach house for a week, or something like that happens and you're not there, and you get some sort of legal document that doesn't get delivered to you because you're not there to sign for it or to receive it, then that could lead to lots of legal issues for you and your business. So that's number two. Make sure you have a corporate registered agent for your business if you choose to form an LLC. Number three, filing your LLC in the wrong state. Again, I've talked about this before, but people don't listen to me, and they still call me up and they ask these questions. I don't know why. People insist on going to Wyoming, Nevada, New Mexico, Delaware, wherever else to set up their LLC. You just need to set up your LLC in your own state. Again, there are exceptions to this, and there could be legal reasons why you need to form it in one of those states or some other state. Just because you file in Wyoming and Wyoming does not have a state income tax does not mean that you, who lives in New York, are going to get out of paying New York state income tax. It doesn't work that way. And just because you hear that the business laws are more favorable to LLCs in Wyoming, or again, Nevada, New Mexico, Delaware, wherever you want to say, it doesn't mean that's going to provide any legal benefit to you. In fact, you're making your life more complicated by filing your LLC in a separate state. Again, are there exceptions? Yes, there are, but for the vast majority of you, 99% of you out there, filing your LLC in the state where you live and where you reside and where you do your business is going to be the proper state for you. Number 4, not researching your name before you start your business. I talked to somebody for a strategy session a couple weeks ago, and they actually hired us to set up their LLC for them. And when we did the initial search for their LLC, we found that another business was using almost the identical name as them. And honestly, when they told me the name they'd come up with, I thought it was a pretty good name, and I was all for it, But unfortunately, somebody else decided that that was a good name too, and they had already chosen that name for their LLC. The point of the story here is, before you go filing your LLC paperwork or filing for trademark protection or anything like that, or even you start operating under a certain business name, you need to make sure you do your research and make sure that nobody else is using that name in your jurisdiction. Number 5 is that you don't have the proper legal contracts in place on your website. I will say, I've seen more and more courses out there that are starting to understand that you do need legal contracts in place on your website. And they're telling people that they need to get legal contracts in place on their website. Typically, this is going to be a privacy policy. It's going to be your website terms of service. It might be some sort of legal disclaimers. There's a myriad of other types of contracts that you might need in place on your website. If you're starting your business and you forget to include these on your website, number 1, if you're collecting any type of personally identifiable information from people on your website, then you're violating the law, because in all 50 states, you have to have a privacy policy in place on your website if you're collecting information from people. This is names, email addresses. I mean, I'm a lawyer. I can't tell you how many lawyers out there have contact forms on their website that say, contact us, let us know about your case, free case review on their website, and they collect all this information about somebody and then potentially don't have a privacy policy in place on their website. And those are lawyers. So you need to make sure you have all these proper legal contracts in place on your website to make sure that your business is legal and you don't run into any issues. Now, number 6 is that you do have the proper legal contracts and such on your website, but you found them for free somewhere online, or you didn't know what you were doing when you were filling them out, or even worse, you decided to copy them from another website. That's copyright infringement, in case you were wondering. So don't make that mistake. If you're gonna start a business, you need to have these contracts in place on your website. Hire a lawyer or purchase a proper legal template. It might cost you a little bit of money here. It might cost you a couple $100 to get these types of legal templates for your website, but spend the money, get a good template. Don't get a generic boilerplate template that's gonna work for anybody, and make sure that your website is protected. Number 7, and this is one that doesn't come up too much from newbie entrepreneurs because they frankly don't have these issues yet. For more established entrepreneurs who are collecting testimonials from people, make sure you're using those testimonials correctly. Don't misrepresent the testimonials. Don't pay for testimonials. Make sure that with the testimonials you're using, use the proper disclaimers on your website with those testimonials. Make sure you have the permission of the person that's providing the testimonial that you can use their testimonial. So there's all sorts of rules and restrictions. This is all governed by the FTC about how and where and when you can use testimonials with your business. Make sure you follow those rules, or you could land yourself in hot water real quick. Number 8, you violate the terms of service for the vendors that you're working with. So basically this means you're breaching contracts for the people that you've chosen to work with. For example, you use unlicensed music or unlicensed videos. I am actually in the process of hiring a video editor to help me with these videos, and the person I've been talking to told me that she uses footage from a certain website. And the very first thing I did when she told me that is I reached out to that website to ask them if it would be violating their terms of use for her to transfer that intellectual property into my videos that I am then going to be placing on YouTube. Because the last thing I want, and if you're a YouTube creator, you should be very conscious of this, and this should be the last thing you want, is a copyright strike. Because copyright strikes can get you banned from YouTube. They can get your whole account shut down, and that's a problem. So you don't want that to happen. So I reached out to the vendor. I had read their terms of service. It said that the licenses for their content were non-transferable. I didn't know what that meant. And I got an opinion from them that said, no, that's perfectly fine. You can do that, not a big deal. We welcome that type of use. So that to me makes me sleep a little bit better. Make sure you're reading through the terms of service for the vendors that you're working with, and make sure that you're not violating those terms of service. Number 9, you unknowingly steal images or music or other intellectual property from other people, and then you use that in your content, whether that be on your blog post, whether that be in your podcast, whether that be on your YouTube video, Instagram, Facebook posts, other social media posts, wherever it might be. You inadvertently are stealing images or content or music or whatever to use for yourself. This can be a big problem. I know a lawyer that used to sue people for copyright infringements, and he had a very busy practice because they're sending out new lawsuits and new demand letters on a daily basis to businesses that are ripping off their clients' copyrighted work. So this is something you need to be very careful of. Anyone tells you to go to Google Images and find an image for whatever it is you're working on, run the other way, because that is terrible advice. That could slap you with a huge lawsuit in federal court, and you don't want to get there. You don't want to be a part of that. Whatever you do, please, pretty please, do not steal unlicensed images or music or copyrighted works from someone else in your videos. I'll give you another example. I am actually in the process of doing some collaborations where I'm reaching out to other YouTubers who have given advice and guidance on LLCs and trademarks and things like that, but they are not lawyers. And so I'm going to be doing response videos to those people. That should be coming up in the next several weeks, should be the first one. Before I do that, I think I'm well within my rights to look at their video and use little components of their video in my video because I'm giving commentary and responding to the way they've acted in their video. But in an abundance of caution, I'm reaching out to every single one of the YouTubers that I intend to do a response video from and asking them if they are okay with me doing that. I think number 1, it's going to create some goodwill. Number 2, it's going to create some other opportunities for collaboration. If you would like me to review one of the videos on your channel, I will include a link down below in the description to a form that you can fill out with a link to the video, more information about your channel, and I will certainly look into doing that in an upcoming video. Number 10, last issue that I see people run into when they're just getting started with their online business. Many people who are just getting started with online business do so as freelancers. They find work on various freelancer websites, or they find work from referrals in Facebook groups and different places like that, where they're doing work for people on a one-to-one client basis. For example, this video editor I'm about to hire, this person is going to be an independent contractor for my business. These people, they don't use contracts when they're dealing with those clients. And as a result, they leave themselves exposed to potential legal issues because they don't have a contract in place with the client they're going to be working with. This is a big mistake. Make sure you have good client contracts in place for the people that are hiring you to do work for them. Also make sure you have client contracts in place if you're hiring independent contractors to do work for you. Those 2 contracts are extremely important. I'll be honest, this is just the tip of the iceberg. When I sat down to start to script out this video and said, okay, well, let's see, what kind of mistakes do people make? My list was a lot longer than the 10 issues that I came up with for this video. There's a ton of issues that people face when they're starting out with an online business. A lot of people completely miss all these issues, and I don't want you missing these issues. So if you'd like to learn more about the common legal mistakes that newbies make when they're starting an online business versus how experienced entrepreneurs handle their business. I did a great video right here that you can check out. See how different people approach their business from a legal perspective. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you have a great day, folks, and I will see you in the next video.